Welcome to Syrah Spirit and Wine Parlor. My name is Adam Stemler. I'm our resident beverage director as well as our wine enthusiast here. I in no way, shape, or form call myself a wine expert because anyone that knows this much about wine or this much about wine knows how much they don't know about wine. Every Saturday night between the hours of 8 and 9, we host a wine tasting at our beautiful acacia wood 12-person tasting table. For you as a consumer, it's an opportunity for you to come in, try some wine. Every week we make it thematically a little bit different. You get the opportunity to try 3 wines and we pair 3 canopies with it. And more than anything, we try to keep it fun, interactive, and whether it's your starting point for going out in the gas lamp or you plan on being here all night, it's always an amazing way to start your night with a little bit of vino. So it's estimated by historians and archaeologists that human beings have been feeling the effects of wine for about 5,000 to 7,000 years. And the reason why they believe that is because the first groups of people that transitioned from hunter-gatherer societies into agrarian societies that did so in an area where grapes were indigenous to happened between 5,000 and 7,000 years ago. And that happened in what is modern-day Georgia and Armenia. Tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about Syrah. Syrah is an amazing grape varietal that has the opportunity to manifest itself in all sorts of different ways depending on the microclimate, the region, and the soil composition, as well as the winemaker's vision and what we want to do with the grape. Syrah was introduced into California relatively late. It was brought here in 1971, and to give you an idea how that relates to other varietals, Malbec was brought to Argentina in 1864. So a very new varietal to the state of California. So the first wine we're going to be tasting tonight, guys, is called Leal Estate Grown Syrah. Now in 1998, a young gentleman, his name's Frank Leal, he was 28 years old at the time, and he decided to ditch his blue-collar job, and he bought 45 acres of land at the foothills in Hollister in San Benito County. They grow a number of different varietals there, but I think their Rhone varietals are the ones that are most spoken in the wines that they do. Now, when you're tasting wine, you want to make sure you swirl it around and you get your nose in there. And the reason why that is because on your palate, you can actually only taste sugar, salt, bitter, and sour. Anything else you get flavor component of anything you eat or drink comes from your olfactory. And if any one of you, like I have a really good friend that damaged his sense of olfactory in a head incident, he can't taste anything anymore because his olfactory was damaged. And in this particular wine, I think you get rich, oily leather and a lot of black fruit jam. It almost smells like boysenberry jam to me. It's a very extracted wine, a lot of residual sugar, and it's a great wine to pair with food. And tonight we chose to pair this with a sheep smoked cheese and a little fig compote, which I think pair up absolutely beautifully. Now the second wine we're going to be tasting tonight is from a boutique winery called Malm Cellars. It's run by a married couple, Amanda and Brendan Malm. Apparently they both shared a love for wine, got married, and decided to own and operate a winery out of Sonoma. Now they happen to call this a cross blend, even though it's 92% Syrah. Now in the state of California, technically to put Syrah or any varietal on a label, only 75% of that actual varietal has to be in that wine to be called a Syrah. This particular wine they call a cross blend, even though it's 92% Syrah and the other 8% is Cabernet. So they could have easily called it a Syrah if they wanted to. They just chose to use the word cross blend. This particular Syrah is amazing in regards to the fact that it's a really emblematic expression of Sonoma County, and you get a lot of wet earth, soil. This wine almost has that barnyard characteristic to it. Go ahead, smell it. It smells like wet earth. It smells like mushrooms. It smells like hay. It kind of smells like cows. To go with this wine tonight, we decided to stuff Spanish Queen olives with blue cheese, wrap them in duck prosciutto, and we served it with just a tiny bit of raspberry balsamic and truffle oil, which really brings out the mushroom flavor within the wine. So I really hope you enjoy. The last wine on the evening that we're going to be tasting tonight is a French Syrah out of the Côte de Rhône in the Rhône Valley, and it's by a wine purveyor called Domaine de la Solitude. On French labels, they generally don't put the wine varietal or grape species on the label because in France, legally, you can only grow certain grapes in certain regions. So this particular wine label says Domaine de la Solitude Côte de Rhône. Now if it says Côte de Rhône in regards to red varietals, you're generally dealing with Syrah, Grenache, Mourvèdre. However, there are upwards of 22 varietals that are grown in the Rhône Valley. This particular one happens to be a Syrah, and it's being made by one of the oldest winemaking families in the historic Châteauneuf-du-Pape region of the Rhône Valley. I smell like a lot of chocolate, and I smell a lot of dried fruit. You get a lot of fruit in this, but not fresh fruit. Like that first wine we tasted had like fresh black fruit jam. This wine smells like dried, almost like dried apricots. And because of the fact that it's so charismatic of chocolate and dark fruit, we decided to pair it with a dark chocolate, fresh raspberry, and a mint sprig that I think really pair well with what we're doing in the wine. And this brings us to the end here of our wine tasting here at Syrah Spirit and Wine Parlor. I'd like to thank you guys all for coming out. And if you enjoyed your experience, if you learned a little bit about wine, if you were able to meet some interesting people around you and just interact, the only thing that we ask you to do is tell a friend or two and come back, because every week thematically we do something a little bit different. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope you enjoyed your stay.
I've been to a number of wine tastings both in Temecula and Napa Valley and Sonoma, and I can honestly say that I learned more at this wine tasting in 1 hour than I learned at all of those put together. It was very knowledgeable.
You know what, Adam's very relatable. I feel like a lot of times when you go to wine tastings, people have kind of an attitude about it, but I feel like Adam's just a real guy, and he likes wine, and he wants you to like the wines that he likes, and he has the knowledge to back it up. So I feel like listening to him talk about his knowledge, I trust him more than other people, and I feel more comfortable kind of asking questions.
It would be perfect for a girls' night or even a date night to come out, and it's your chance to like meet other couples and interact with the people next to you. It's a really awesome experience.
You know, I like the fact that I can come in here downtown. You feel like you're in a whole different world. You don't feel like you're downtown San Diego. It's like a whole different environment. You feel comfortable. There's room to kind of mingle with your friends, socialize, meet new people, try new drinks that I would never normally try before.